welcome to the Late Night Snacking Podcast.
We're your hosts, Devin and Anita, and this is our weekly podcast where we grab a blanket and some snacks and talk about all things relationships, growing pains, and navigating through, honestly, life itself.
We hope our experiences encourage others to grow to become the best versions of themselves, and for their relationships. Grab a snack and let's go! What is up, snackers?
Good people. What's going on? And welcome to the Late Night Snacking Podcast.
Welcome back to the pod.
The most honest podcast, the most open podcast, and the most wholesome podcast in the world.
Woo! Welcome back to the pod, y'all. This is a guest episode, so we are very excited. Let's just get right to it. Let's introduce our guest.
Yeah, usually I'm kind of stoic, but I'm lit today. Like, I'm jacked.
You are
because I got my dog in here for real. Like, I got the Calvin Owens sitting to the left of me right now.
Man, it's a pleasure and an honor to be here with y'all, and I appreciate it.
Word, my dog, man. I've known Calvin, bro, like 10 plus years for real, like a long time.
Real.
That's awesome.
I actually found a picture that we took at Fusion Warehouse, like from like 07, 06. And I'm like, oh, shit,
Fusion
like,
days.
this is crazy.
That's a whole nother podcast.
But yeah, that's a whole different
save that for another
podcast. Like, but yeah, Calvin's an awesome dude, man. I've known him for a long time. Into a lot of stuff. Lived one hell of a life so far. Like, so yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's up, y'all? I'm Calvin Owens. The positive voice in your head.
Yes, sir.
Drove all the way up here from Clemson to be here.
Hey, shout out to 864, man.
Late Night Snacking Podcast.
Hey.
One of the
here.
best podcasts.
Aw.
Make sure y'all tap in. It's truly a pleasure to be here with y'all, man. To, just an honor. I don't know. I look up to y'all as a
Sure, I appreciate that.
fellow
That's love, bro.
podcast
Thank
peer.
you.
That's love.
Y'all definitely doing y'all thing, man.
Appreciate it, man.
My heart is full. Alrighty, let's do a quick catch up from last week. Last week we did your interview.
Yes, that was
That was
interesting
fun.
time.
Devin was put on the spot a little bit. We did get a little feedback. So they like the interviews, but they said they thought it would be cool if we did like other people outside of us too, and did it more of like extra side content. So
Okay.
I think we'll do mine as a podcast episode still, just to get that one off, and then we might bring in some other people. So if we hit you up saying we want an interview, just be ready.
Pull up. Yeah, just be ready.
Just be
'Cause the
ready.
questions are coming. But no, look at y'all interacting, giving feedback.
I know.
That's what we love to hear.
We love to see it. But yeah, so hope y'all enjoyed that. If you haven't yet, check that out. By this time, we would have already put out our second dinner time chat. So if you haven't watched that, check that out as well.
Yeah, the dinner chat's the best chats. You know what I'm saying?
Dinner chat's the best chats. So.
I love y'all segments, by the way. Y'all,
Thank you.
I appreciate
that's
that,
very
bro.
creative.
We're trying to we're trying to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, trying to spice it up. A little extra content here and
Yeah,
there.
give
Get
a
more
little-
personal.
There you
Y'all
go.
doing it. Y'all doing it.
Yeah. So yeah, make sure you check that out. But I think that is it. Shall we go around and share what we're snacking on?
Yeah, I mean, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay. So say what you want about gas stations, but they do have the best selections of snacks. So
Hey, shout out 7-Eleven if y'all trying to give us that
7-Eleven,
sponsor for real.
Please go. Please enter the stock market so I can get some.
listen.
Nah, facts.
Yeah, they being stingy right now.
They putting them Jones up.
Yeah.
So I have the sea salt roasted almonds. I'm an almond girly, so yeah, good stuff.
For sure. I got the vanilla cream sandwich cookies.
Ooh.
You know, the ones you go to your grandma's house and they be kind of stale sometimes.
OG
Relax.
I got them.
Relax.
I got the
That's how you
OGs,
feel
exactly,
today.
bro. The
But
sandwich
they not
cookies.
stale though, right?
Yeah, these ain't stale.
Okay, we good with
Shout
that,
out
okay.
to 7-Eleven though for not having the stale cookies. Like, y'all shelf time be lit.
Word. And the thing about 7-Eleven is it be their own like brand.
Yeah.
And they
It be
still
they-
taste like the
Yeah,
best
like it
brand.
came
Yeah.
from the
Like,
stove.
For real.
That's true.
So shout out to them for vertical
Facts.
integration. That's
Hey.
Hey, we love it. We love it.
so my turn.
Yeah.
So I got a busted banana.
Hey.
Okay.
Trying to keep it healthy.
That's
Then
what we
I come
encourage
back
that.
with like, if you can't see this, you hear that.
Yeah, the nerds.
This is nerd gummy clusters. If you ain't never had
So
none.
which one is it, Calvin?
Hey,
We live a
you gotta have that
balanced life.
You
I
You
live a
gotta have
balanced
that balance.
life. You know, I go to the gym so I can do both. You know.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah,
Love
that's
to
my
hear it.
snacks.
All right. Let's pop into unpack the snack. So this one's a little bit relevant because this kind of just happened in the social media celebrity space, but I think I don't even know what her name is, but it's a popular couple. She had basically asked him, like, please be honest with me. I feel like my appearance is changing. Like, I feel like I'm gaining weight. As my partner, can you be honest with me? Do you think that I'm gaining weight? Do you think I look different? Yada, yada, yada. So he responded very truthfully, but nicely, and said, like, you're always beautiful to me, but you're asking me to be honest with you. So yes, I do believe you are gaining weight, but you're still beautiful to me no matter what, basically.
And that's where he went wrong.
Yeah.
Was it a right?
So
Could
the
you go right,
result, the result of that was she dumped him.
Look
But
at that. See?
also
to see it.
she outed his messages, which I never really believe in. I just don't think you should put private messages with people, especially your partner, online. But yeah, so it got ugly. But it left discussion, like a space for a discussion for people to be like, okay, so at what point do you like not be honest to like for the sake of like a fight or something? Or what point do you actually give the honesty that your partner is like asking you for? So I don't know. I guess the men, what would y'all have done in this situation?
Well, I would like to ask first,
Okay.
as a woman, what is the right answer to that? Is it a right answer? Is it a right way to say it? Because a lot of dudes
there's
would have
always-
been
there's a-
like,
there's a
"Yo,
hundred
that
ways
was
to say
beautiful,
that."
brother. That was a way to go."
Yeah.
I will say a lot of women are rallying behind him in this situation because I feel like if a woman's asking you to be honest, I do think you should be honest because I know me and my fragile self. I'm not asking Devin ever if I'm gaining weight. I'm never going to put you in that position because like I'm a cry.
You're
So,
real.
so I'm not going to put you in a situation to where you have to like choose if you want to lie to me or not.
Yeah.
But like a lot of women are rallying behind the guy because with women, you have to be very careful and like choose your words very carefully. So I think he did a great job because he was telling her like, you're asking me to be honest with you. So I'm doing that. But also it doesn't matter to me that you are gaining weight. You are still beautiful to me. So I feel like that's a good cushion to where like, all right, I'm not going to lie to you because like, we're not going to be lying to each other. But also like, you're still beautiful to me. And like, it's not a big deal. I'm not saying get your fat ass in the gym. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's a way to say things. But I don't know. Would y'all be honest in that scenario?
I mean, I say it's more than one way to skin a cat.
Boy,
Like, in my opinion, like, I say it depends on the girl. And I say that because if you know that she's like type A and she might try to starve herself, if you say, I'm just gonna lie to you. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be
Yeah,
honest,
that's
and I'm gonna say,
real.
yeah, you fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look good. You know, you don't think you're gaining weight, you're good. Like, just because I know I have to deal with that emotional
Right.
stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know I have to deal with that. But if you can take that type of criticism, like if you got tough skin and like you're not gonna trip, yeah, I'll be honest with you. But the reason why I say it's more than one way to skin a cat is I'm the type I'll be like, you know, like nah, like you could, like you look good, and then tomorrow I'd be like, hey, babe, you want to go to the gym? You see what I'm saying? Like,
Suddenly.
I don't have to tell you to your face, yeah, you fat, like you gaining a lot of weight.
Right.
I'm not gonna tell you that. I'm just gonna be like, oh, like, let's go for a walk or something. Like,
but
let's
what
go to the gym
happens
tomorrow? Like,
when they be like, "Nah, I'm good."
then you leave it. Because look, because I put it to you this way. She asked that question for a reason. And that's because she knows she gaining weight.
She knows.
She want to hear from somebody else to
Right.
validate
Oh,
it.
100%.
No, but, well, let me take that back. She doesn't want to hear that, but she knows that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, because why would you ask me that?
But that's
You know
what I'm
that you
saying.
gaining weight.
I wouldn't put you in a position to do that
See what
because
I'm
if I'm
saying?
asking you, it's because I know and
It's
I'm
because
feeling
you already
self-conscious
know.
about it. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. So I don't know. Like, but then, you know, I'm against like seeking validation out of other people anyway. Yeah, that's not my thing. Like,
Yeah.
if I know that I'm gaining weight and I'm fat, I'm gonna sit in that and I'm gonna soak in that. Like, I don't need to go ask, hey, bro, you think I'm getting like a no, nigga. Like,
Okay, so just the perfect time since I have you two both here.
okay.
When you're married, how does that work? Like you don't want her to seek your validation,
Yeah.
But at the same time, if y'all gonna get married and be life partners, that's y'all doing life together, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But what if you, just speaking, what if you did? She brung it up, but you really do want her to lose weight, but you don't want to crush her.
Right.
But when you ask, does she want to join you at the gym? She's still saying no. Where do you go with that? Because at the same time, I feel like, yeah, you shouldn't make her feel any type of way, but I
Right.
feel like the way you feel about her should matter if y'all want to move forward together and have a
Right,
life
absolutely.
together. So how do you go about after she says, nah, I'm good, but you still thinking, think you should though, babe. Like
You hit him in the weak. You hit him in the weak spot.
Yeah.
No woman's gonna turn down food. You switch that diet up.
Switch
We
it
gonna
up.
get in the kitchen then. You don't want to go to the gym. That's cool. But
So
we
maybe
gonna
you
cut back
gotta
on
start
these carbs.
cooking
Yeah,
something
we gonna cut back
healthy
on
or
these carbs though.
something.
Like, yeah, we might go on like a plant-based diet for like a month or so. Yeah.
Alright.
It's just you go, cool. We ain't gotta go.
I will say that is helpful in the sense that like nobody wants to feel like they're going through a fitness journey,
Right.
like with just like when you're in a partnership, like you're the only one that cares about your appearance and your partner's just like
Yeah.
doing whatever, eating chips on the couch and stuff like that. Like if you were to get in the kitchen and like start cooking healthy stuff, like, and I wasn't motivated to get up and work out, like that would already signal me to be like, okay, like we're changing things here. Okay, he's going to the gym. Like maybe I'll just start going with him. Like
Right.
maybe not every time he goes,
Yeah.
but like maybe once a week.
It's a
I'll,
thought
like,
now.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
exactly. But it's a thought without saying something that's like kind of mean or
Right.
condescending. But I think also too, you have to think about it when you're going into marriage or life partner or whatever you're deciding to do. Like it's not realistic that you're going to stay the same weight and have the same appearance. Obviously, you're going to get older. Your metabolism is going to get slower. You can't eat the same things you used
Right,
to eat. Your
right.
body's going to change in different ways. Having babies, you're going to gain weight. Like your body's going to change, but I think you have to like intimacy and attraction to each other, like that's so important. I don't
Right.
care what people say, like that really holds a relationship together a lot of the time. So like I never want to let myself go because like I don't want you looking at other bitches out here. You know what I mean?
Word.
Like
Yeah.
I have to keep that in mind, and like you too, like you want to be like it's not realistic, but you want your partners to like only have eyes for you,
Yeah,
and I feel like you have to
absolutely.
keep that same mentality going forward. So like if that means changing a diet here and there, going to the gym once a week with your partner, like do those things and like be
Right.
involved in taking care of yourself.
And especially if your love language, like Anita, is quality time.
Yeah.
That QT. Oh,
Yeah.
she ain't finna skip out on no QT.
Nah, you can't.
Oh, she gonna go to that gym.
Yeah.
Just because she going with me, like she gonna go to that gym. She ain't gonna miss out on no QT now.
So true.
That ain't happening. So
true.
So she one of those, hey babe, I'm gonna go to the store. You wanna come with me?
All
Oh,
the
yeah.
time.
You ain't gotta ask. You already
bro,
in
that's
the car.
crazy, bro.
She in the
We
car
talked
already.
about that before. Like, I'm not used to having somebody
No.
around who craves my attention. all the time.
Right.
I'm not used to that.
So
Yeah.
how are you receiving that? Like,
It's different, bro. It is
Yeah.
because you got like how I was raised, like my mom and stuff. She
Mm-hmm.
went to the grocery store and stuff by herself. So now, like living with her and us being together, it's like now I go on these grocery trips too, and it's just like, bro, I'm not used to that for real.
I caught some of that in the
Like,
y'all had an
it's
episode
new.
where y'all were discussing some of that, like to the differences in your parents and the expectations and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's real. Like for me, I like being alone, but I appreciate somebody I can feel like I'm alone with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Nah,
so
I feel
like,
that.
do you ever have you ever had a conversation or had to have a conversation with her like, hey babe, like, you know I like being with you. You know I like you being
Yeah.
next to me, but
100%.
I need
Yep.
I need to go in this room alone, like
Yep.
for a minute, you know?
Yes.
And that's honestly
Yeah.
like a conversation like you have like the first few dates. You let them know what type of person you are. Like, she
Should
knows-
have the first few.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you should.
Yeah.
You definitely should. So yeah, like that was my thing. Like, I mean, I just told her like, hey, you know, sometimes like I don't call them moods. It's just like I need like that.
He likes
alone
the
space, my
solidarity.
space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's almost kind of scary, bro. Like how good, like and how much I love like my solitude.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It kind of make you look like,
can
what's
be
wrong with
scary
that boy
to
for
other
real? Yeah, like, what's
people.
wrong with that boy? Why that boy by
That's
himself?
me,
all
It
like,
dog.
helps you
It's just-
recharge and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we had to have that conversation. Now, as somebody who's very sensitive, did I take it to heart at first? Yes, like 100% I took it to heart. But at the same time, he's also making changes to try and like adapt to me and like go to the grocery store with me and like do things with me. So he's making an effort. So why can I not make the effort as well and leave him alone sometimes? Like you have to, it's a give and take, you know what I mean? So yeah, we've definitely had that conversation. Even last night, you went out with a friend or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't even interfere myself into those plans. I was like, you go have fun. I'll see you later. Today, I'm probably going to go hang out with a friend. Like we have separate times and like, but we understand that like space is good. So one of us likes it a little more than the other, but like, that's okay. You know what I mean? Like it's not the end of the world.
That's a big word.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm not even in a relationship. I'm a single man.
Okay.
But being with somebody that realizes it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's this TD Jakes. He was doing a show or a podcast or something with his wife, and he was saying that it was a big thing in their relationship for her to learn or to understand that when he comes home and he's quiet or he's not talking or he just seems separated, it has nothing to do with her every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just acknowledging your partner and learning their ways, their tendencies, their, you know, kind of like that fly on the wall.
Yeah,
Like
just soaking up
mentality.
everything.
Like
Yeah.
we never talked about it, but hey, I noticed this.
Right.
Or hey, I saw you don't like this, or
Yep.
I saw you like this that way.
Yeah.
Taking notice of each other. How big was that for you two? It's just noticing the little things. How important is that?
It's really important.
Yeah.
I mean, to us, I mean, now, like how far we're practically getting ready to get married. It's like surface level now.
Yes, sir.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? 'Cause
Yes, sir.
like it's just like you said, bro. It's important. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To be observant and to like, because there's some things that you can pick up from your partner. Some things she pick up from me. Like, bro, I honestly feel like she act like me now. It's kind of crazy. Like,
So you doing it well.
like I'm getting ready to marry myself. Like it's almost like it's kind of crazy, but
I feel like you leading well, brother. That's all it is.
right.
You leading
But man,
well.
let's get into this topic though.
Yeah,
because- yeah. This about to be a good one.
Okay. So let's hop into le topic. What is it? What are we talking about?
Man, like what we've been talking about the past like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Slick. Yeah.
Officially now.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
officially. So we're going to be discussing convos to have before marriage.
Big one.
Man.
Yeah.
Big
And we
one.
are right in that season too. A lot of these
Literally.
we've already had with each other, but it's just, yeah, there's just some things you have to hash out and talk about before. Some of them are uncomfy. Some of them you don't want to have. Some of them are a little taboo, but like you gotta talk and get it out because
Has to be done.
yeah, you would hate to find out years later that some
Right.
of these things were never talked about and now it's a surprise
Right.
Or a problem. At
or a
that.
problem. Yeah,
Yeah, it's too late now.
Yeah.
exactly.
You in there.
Right. Yeah, that's big. I'm looking forward to this.
So I think one of the main ones, even before I started looking into it, one of the biggest ones I put down was money because
Oh my God.
This
if
economy.
if you look at divorce rates, at least half of them are just financial
Yep.
things, financial
Stressors.
hardships.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And like as much as people want to say money doesn't matter, love matters, yada yada, all this stuff, like when you're trying to build a life with somebody and combine finances and buy homes and buy cars and do things like that, money matters.
Yeah.
Can't buy with love.
You
Tell you that.
can't.
I'm telling you.
You can't.
Don't work like that.
No. So I guess, what are some of the things that are important to discuss around money?
I think first point is how you handle money.
Yeah.
Like, that's super important before you hop into a whole like matrimony with somebody.
Yeah.
And you don't know how they like spending habits here. You don't know how they handle money. So it's
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like if they're not careful, then that can be a problem. It could be a conversation had and you can like resolve that. But that ain't nothing you get married and then you find out they bad with money.
Right.
Like,
Right.
let's go ahead and hash that out right now.
Yeah.
Right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get that out the way.
Right. I feel like we're getting a little serious. Let's talk about this.
Oh, for real? Like, so like what you
Yeah.
think, bro? Like, so do you think that's important?
Man, I think it's super important.
Yeah.
Especially as, like I said, as a single guy,
Yeah.
I'm learning financial literacy, money management. Like
Yeah.
that's the last 2
That's
years
huge.
or so for me. I've been real big about practicing it. I ain't saying I always get it right,
Yeah.
but I'm to the point now where it's a serious thought every time I spend or when the money come in, I'm automatically like, okay, how can I put this to work? How can I set it aside for later? How can I and then, like I said, single and dating right now, this economy,
Okay.
you want to go on a date, huh? You want to go on a date? Let's have
over
a
the
picnic,
head,
baby. Like,
Beating you over the head.
Free dates at the crib is what it's looking like.
exactly. So I can't be in my season of my life where I'm being more thoughtful with my money, only to meet someone that's frivolous. Like,
Right.
you know, like they just like, you got it. And I'm the type of guy, if I take you out on a date, I'm paying for it.
Yeah.
Like, it just, I'm doing
Yeah.
that. That's just me. That's my morals. That's just, I stand on that.
Yeah.
Right.
So if I meet someone that's just not mindful that, or don't care that's not their money that they're spending, that off top is, I ain't saying that when we go out, you should be like, oh, I'm only going to eat this. Nah, let's eat. We here. Like,
Right.
Yeah,
let's
we
or a
know.
date, whatever we doing, like, let's do that. But if
Yeah.
I see you just, like, cause I like to sit and watch sometimes. Like, not to play games, not to, but when I'm dealing with
be
somebody,
observant.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very observant to the things that matter to me. Because the things that matter to me aren't always the things that you can just see by just
Yeah. With the naked eye.
with the naked eye,
Yeah,
right? You
don't
got to
always
be
happen like
paying attention. You got to be aware of that's what you're looking for and things of that nature. So
Yeah.
it's huge to me. We got to be on the same page about this money because
Yep.
I think futurized. I think generational wealth. I think, okay, once we get a family, it's time to, I want a family trust. I want to, like, you know,
Exactly.
that
It
bank
goes
account.
further, yeah.
A savings portfolio, like, for the family. Like, I'm thinking like that. So I can't
Yep.
meet somebody just like, bro, that's 10 years from now. Why you worried about that?
Right.
Nah, I don't work like that.
What?
No.
You better be planning.
Are you feel me?
Yeah.
Like,
You know what I know. You.
yeah, if that's not your
Exactly.
mindset to be
Right.
be preparing yourself for the future in every type of way. I know we're talking about finances right now, but in every type of way, spiritually, emotionally, physically,
Yep.
you should be thinking about live for the day, but tomorrow pretty important when you make it to tomorrow. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anybody I deal with got to be financially aware. You know,
Yeah.
if anything, we can
I like
learn
that.
together.
Yep.
We can grow together. You know, it ain't like a deal breaker that you're not there yet.
Right.
But I need you to be willing to understand the
you
importance
go.
of learning.
Bring some type of awareness.
Some type.
Let me know that you know what's up. Like,
Because I want you to be able to cover me. Okay, I didn't learn this as much. You know, I didn't learn about, to say, budgeting as much.
yeah.
I want a woman that can come and be like, hey, well, this is what I learned about it.
Yep.
Let me teach you what I've
Yeah.
learned. You know,
Balance
because
it
you know
out.
it's important to me. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's not all about me. I hope I have someone that, you know, I'm able to, you know, match them and whatever they care about as well. But I plan to.
Yeah.
You know, I'm willing to. If you're gonna be with somebody, if you're gonna get married, I see it as a partnership.
Right.
Partnership.
As you should.
Yeah, it's
As you should.
you make it work with each other. You know, you feel each
Exactly.
other in because they say marriage is a business. Don't you want your business to do well?
Come on now.
You feel me?
That's a word.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So
That's a word.
That's how I look at it. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's good too to like kind of take not inventory, but I guess kind of just to like be honest about where you're at. Especially I know us, like we're getting married in our mid to late 20s. Like
Yeah.
obviously we're not exactly financially where we want to be right now, but that's an honest conversation that we have to have with each other and be like, okay, this is where we're at. This is what I can contribute. This is how much I have in debt. Like these are things that you have to talk to each other about because when you go into buying houses, like there's debt to income ratio. Now your student loans come into play. Like these are things that like when you combine finances with somebody, sometimes whoever has debt is a liability
That's
to the
real.
other person. So like, and that's okay, but like let me be aware of this so I'm not finding this out when we're applying for a home. You know what I
Right,
mean? So
right.
like these are important conversations to have with each other to like be on the same page. I liked what you said too about like family trust and stuff like that because I think it's good to like take note of where you're at, but I think it's good to also have goals, like financial goals for the future and not just stick with where you're at because the money that we're making now is not the money that we're going to be making in
Right,
10 years. You know what I
exactly.
mean? When the kids are here and when kids go to college, do we have a fund for them? Like these are all things that you want to talk about before you get up there and be like, I do. And then it's like, I do, but like I'm broke and in debt. And
These
I didn't
conversations
know. And
also, like I said, just having these conversations prior give you a direction
Yes.
to go into.
Right.
You know, because like you said,
Right.
you brought up the kids, you brought up college. and a couple other things. So if you've talked about these things
Mm-hmm.
before marriage,
Yes.
you already kind of got like a compass to, okay, we're at an agreement that we're headed this way, right? You know, like, and now it
There's a
ain't
path.
just right. It's a
Yeah.
path set because we had the conversation, so now we have a vision
Exactly.
about where we want to be, and so yeah, I'm with you.
Exactly. Speaking of kids, that's another good one that should be discussed.
You said kids, and all I heard was money.
Boy,
liabilities.
Bill,
nah,
Bill.
fact.
You know how much daycare is? Oh my
Okay.
god!
They beating them over the head with that
Listen,
too. Like,
listen.
they
Yeah.
eating right now.
I'm just gonna put you in the closet for a couple hours and just go to
be all
sleep.
right.
Give me
You know,
some snacks, a little
Right.
water.
just go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, kids is a big one.
Yeah, that is a big one.
How, what has the conversation, if y'all gotten there,
Yeah.
like economy wise,
Mm-hmm.
like are you like, man, are you planning like we can shit start trying this year, or maybe when this happens we should start trying, or is it just like,
Yeah.
You know, cross that bridge when we get there, whenever it is. Like, is that
Right.
planned out for y'all, or like what does that look like for
We've
y'all?
had like
Countless.
hundreds of conversations about that,
Yeah.
honestly.
That's a top of the list conversation for
It-
us.
yeah, it is. And I mean, the deal was,
The deal.
got to be married. So the marriage comes first and then kids, which I respect. You know what I mean?
Respectfully, right?
Yeah. So I definitely want kids, man. Like, I'm kind of in that headspace now. Like, being from where we from, coming to how we came up, like that the club and the party, like we done that. That done came and went. That done came and
Couple
went.
times,
like,
yeah, that's over.
yeah, bro, it's cool. But like now, like I'm moving, and then like saying 30 right around the corner for real. Like,
boy,
boy, that
keep
thing
looking
on the
at
way.
me. I'm
It's
like, bro,
on the
chill
way.
out.
So it's like the idea of life and time is literally setting in now. Like
life and time.
exactly, bro. So it's now you looking at things totally different. Like, you know what I mean? Like, am I in a position to like really raise a kid right now? Like,
Right.
do I got all my baggage off? Do I got my trauma out the way to where I
Right.
can instill something into a kid for real? Like,
Yeah.
I'm looking at stuff like that, and I'm working on stuff like that every day.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
she'll tell you, like, I told her if we were to have a kid tomorrow, I wouldn't trip. Yeah, it's expensive, bro, but I'm literally willing to make any sacrifice
Yeah.
that I need to make.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To be able to provide for my kid. You know what I mean? Like, and I, especially working in elementary school and stuff and working with kids. And
Shout out to you for that, by the way.
man, I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
that's
takes a
real big
special
with me,
soul,
like-
Yeah, that literally got to be something you enjoy
Yeah,
doing,
bro.
Yeah.
So, and our family is big, so I got a lot of little cousins. Not like changing diapers. I helped raise 2 nephews, so
Yeah.
You ain't new to this.
yeah, bro. I was changing diapers in the 6th grade,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
fixing bottles
man.
and all, bro.
Yeah.
I avoided that as long as I could with my nephew.
Like been there, so it's not really, you know what I mean? Like I just mentally, bro. Like I can feel myself like just moving into that space of like a different level of maturity.
Be confident
Yeah.
in that
Yeah,
space,
bro. So-
that season. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready, bro. Honestly.
And
So
it's different because one of the things that I think is important to talk about too is timeline, which is probably the one that we struggle with the most.
is it the right time to have a baby? Is it?
It's right. And I know there's never a perfect time because I think people really try and like get everything perfect before having, and you're just never fully prepared for a child, and that's okay. But I think the hardest thing is just where we are at as far as like where we live, like our living situation, our money situation. Like I just know, like he's like, if we had a kid tomorrow, like we'd be okay. I would not.
Yeah.
Like I don't find comfort in struggling with a baby. Like that's just not something that I want to do. And like I think it's also too like I didn't grow up in a situation to where my parents, like I never saw my parents struggle or try and make ends meet and stuff like that. So it's hard coming from that and then maybe turning into a situation like that when like I don't want my kid to see that because like I didn't have to see that and it was great. And
So
I
naturally, you
don't
want better. than-
exactly, exactly. I want to give them better than like even what I grew up in, which is a hard, bar to meet. But like
Especially being married.
yeah, it's hard.
Different.
So yeah, I think timeline is important. There's certain things, certain finances, certain situations that we want to be in before bringing said child into the world. But
Ideally,
again,
right?
yeah, again, like that's a top of the list item is like when is a good
Yeah.
time, like. it's tough. It's not an easy conversation, but it's a conversation that we're continuously having. Things change. So whenever things change or situations change, we are talking about it again. Yeah. So like, it's good to keep it top of mind and not just be like, well, we discussed it 8 months ago and I thought you were okay. You know what I mean? Like, stay on top of it. If your situation's changing, if times are changing, if money's changing, like, bring it back up. Okay, so how do we feel now? Do we feel better about it now? Do we want to try? Like, you got to keep, same thing with the money, same thing with everything that we're talking about today. Like, don't just have one conversation and be like, yep, we called it good. I think, what was it, yesterday that we were watching the Kim and Kanye thing? And he said that we were moving to Chicago or something like that. Yeah. And she was like, well, he didn't run it by me. And he's like, well, we had a conversation about it. She's like, yeah, months ago. Like, I didn't think this was like a serious
with
thing.
The update.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said something like, so we've never had a serious conversation about it. He was like, any conversation I have is serious. He said, I don't play.
Yeah. Shout out to you.
It's so funny, but like,
I don't play.
But like, you cannot run big decisions like that. Like, you have to keep bringing it back up and be like, all right, is now good? Like, are we ready for it now? So,
but we had the agreement, and I told her, bro, I'm not bringing no kid in here, no 32 years old. Yeah. That ain't happening.
Oh yeah, he's not. But
that's real.
But here's the thing too.
You know what I'm talking about, bro.
Yeah. Like, but see, I'm younger than him, and as the woman, I'm more on a clock of when I can have a kid and stuff like that. So I'm sorry, but that does matter a little bit more. I'm the one carrying the child, but at the same time, like, he wants it by a certain time. So I'm like, okay, if you want it by a certain time, then these things that we're talking about need to come into play, or else is not going to be good. So like, we have an understanding, we have an agreement, we know what we need to do, we know what we need to get done, and like, it's an ever evolving conversation that we're having with each other. But I think another important one too is like, if your girlfriend or wife can't conceive, like, that's another important conversation to have. Like, are you the type where it's like, I only want a me and you child, or like, do we go IVF? Do we go adoption? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so those are types of conversations that you should be having too, because you can never really prepare if your wife is like fertile enough. Yeah, like,
to find out.
Exactly. You don't know. You can try all the different things, and some women just have a really hard time conceiving. Their body just does not do it. So, you know, those are types of conversations that you have to have as well. So, yeah, kids is a big one. That's a big topic.
Why don't you think a lot of people who are getting serious, couples that are getting serious, or just meeting each other, and why do you think these conversations are so avoided or taboo? Wow, like, what's up with that?
Because I think, well, they can be touchy just because, especially if you don't know what type of upbringing your partner had. You know what I mean? Like, maybe, you know, being a child for them was hard and they didn't like it. You know what I mean? Like, they saw a lot of shit that, you know, probably caused them a lot of trauma and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's a touchy subject, and like, I think people are afraid of the disagreement that could possibly happen within that conversation.
Will it be the deal breaker?
Yeah, like, will it be the deal breaker? Because like, now you seeing, like, in our generation, but like you know, you see a lot of us, they want to have kids, but there's a lot of us in our age, bro, who don't want kids at all.
Especially women. I'm starting to see more women say,
right.
And
it's
like,
that's scary to me. And I respect it, I understand it,
right?
But I'm like,
it's wild, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it is. So we're getting into a time now to where people just like, you know what, like, I don't even want kids. For real.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll get a dog and call it good.
Yeah. Like, to me, bro, I can't grasp that concept, bro. I've tried.
Well,
like, but I
different.
can't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just kind of wild to me. But
yeah.
You know, you talked about, like you said, people might have things from their childhood, traumas or whatever. Is it any version of yourself that you're scared to be when you have kids that you might have pulled from, like, your parents or just like your upbringing? Like, you worried about that? Like, dang, I don't want to be like that. Like, you conscious of the fact that you don't want to be like that?
I'm not necessarily worried, because I think, like, my parents, they did a good job with me. I'll give them that for, you know, where we were and what resources they had and what they had going for themselves. Like, they did good. Like, I turned out all right. You know what I mean?
That's how I like to think too. Right?
You know what I mean? I ain't never been to jail.
Nah,
like,
you're a great guy.
Like, I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I honestly feel like, as parents, you know what I mean, as young people who would be parents, soon or whatever, by default, we're gonna carry a lot of our parents' traits.
By default.
I always look at us like we're elevated versions of our parents.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, like the way my parents raised me, I'm probably gonna raise my kid identically. Like, I'll probably like kind of mirror that model a little bit because I turned out all right. The discipline was there. I had it was very direct.
Yeah.
What I needed to do, go to school, don't show your ass, so you know what's gonna happen when you get here.
Right. You know that.
Keep your grades up. Stay, how my daddy used to say, keep your nose clean.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't keep a whole bunch of hard heads around you and stuff like. Yeah. So it's stuff that it matters, and especially like I know they'll be different because our parents raised us for a different type of world. We're in a whole different world now. Like
I think a lot of
it's
people
almost
don't
like a circus
understand
out here, bro. So
Right.
you like the whole don't talk to strangers. So like I wouldn't dare let my kid ride the bike around the neighborhood
Word.
now. What? With all this like kid trafficking and
Times
stuff?
are different.
Nah,
Times are different,
not on my
yeah.
watch. We ain't
And I hate that. I hate thinking
Me
like that.
too.
Bro,
Because I so
because
Because I
bad.
grew up on that.
Yeah,
You're
Yeah.
gonna miss out
outside.
on a very
Yeah.
pivotal point, bro. Like you remember riding your bike to your homie's
That's
crib
what
for the
I'm
first time
saying,
and being
bro.
over there all day.
Yes.
And nobody word too.
It-
Like,
Exactly.
your mama knew where you was at. She
Yeah.
knew you was gonna come home
Right.
and everything was
If
gonna be
anything
cool.
happened, the mama called
There
my
you
mama,
know
and
it,
that's it. Like
yeah.
that's
Now,
good
bro,
to go.
It's scary out here.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Do you think it's scary out here, or do you think we living in a scary time? If you know what I'm saying.
It's definitely a
Or
scary
both.
time.
Yeah.
A little bit of both.
It's
I
definitely
think.
a scary time.
I just hate how careful you have to be about everything. Like,
Yeah.
even just the thought of like sending your kid to school in fear that it might be like shot up. Like, whoever had to worry
was
about
doing that when we was in
mass
school.
school
Bruh. It's crazy.
shootings? Like, it's just a wild concept.
It
like,
is. That's nuts, bro.
I have to
It-
worry about the place you're going to learn. Like, that's just
Never
Crazy.
before.
nuts. Yeah.
So yeah, like I'm not really scared about like the parenting style or whatever, like of me mirroring some of the traits from my parents or whatever, because I knew they came from a place of love, you know what I mean, but it was also from a place of like survival as well. So I got a little bit of both nurturing and survival, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah,
What about
I ain't
you?
tripping.
I think the only thing I would worry about is the worrying part. Like I don't know if it's just a mom thing, but like my mom is very like high anxiety, always worried about what's going on. Like even now, I'm 26, and if I don't answer the phone after a certain amount of points, she's like calling Devin and be like, "Is she okay?
Should I call the police?"
Is she around?" Yeah, literally. But
Nah, that's facts.
it's
That's facts.
wild because like I see that in myself. Like I worry about Devin like that. I worry about we have a little dog now, but like I worry about our dog like that. Just like I'm very hyper aware to where I overthink everything. So I think that would be the only thing that I worry about with a child, because I just know like if it's on 10 now, it's gonna be like a million when I have
Especially-
something of like
Yeah.
that we created. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be like on top of that ass all the
Yeah,
time.
Might have to
Like
drop some melatonin in her drink.
yeah, to
Yeah,
like
chill
chill
out a little
me
bit.
out.
Yeah,
right.
Like I have to
A
chill.
little bit of kids melatonin
Yeah,
in there.
especially because like don't get me wrong, like I love my mom, but there were like certain things that like her and my dad kept me from doing, and like I couldn't do certain stuff to where like I wish I just had like a little bit more freedom in a sense. But I know that was just them trying to like protect, you know what I mean?
Right.
And like I can see myself doing the same, and like I don't want to be so like on top of my child like that. But like I said, I mean, they raised me well. Like I feel like I turned out well, but like there's certain things where like I would want to make it different a little bit.
I
But
think it should be, like you said, even when you grow up with great parents, you feel did a great job, it's always something that, because you may know more, you may know different than your parents did. Like I said, because the timing of what they
Exactly.
needed to know,
It's
what was
different.
important,
It's
is different.
yeah,
I feel like you should be able to say, okay, they did a great job, but I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
You didn't do wrong, but I think this is right.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm gonna raise my kids this way.
yeah.
And I've even had to have that conversation with my dad before. You know
That's
what I mean?
good.
Just telling
Oh,
him like,
man.
hey, you ran your household how you wanted to. I'm
Yeah.
gonna run mine how I want
Yeah.
to. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I like you said you had a conversation with him.
Yeah.
Because on so many levels, it's conversations that need to be had between parents and child. And I'm talking about like our parents and their parents,
Yeah.
us and our
Yeah.
parents,
Yeah.
that just need to be had.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you know, that get deep. You know, that can
Of
that's a whole
course.
nother thing on its
Yeah,
own.
that
right?
impacts years of like trauma and
Yeah.
childhood things that never got brought up. Like, yeah,
Yeah, and it feeds
you
into
impact a
marriage
lot.
though, because you
Of
know,
course.
if you still hanging on to something from back
Yep.
from them, from the family,
Exactly.
it might take away something that you're supposed to give to your significant other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or you never even got to bring up your true potential in
Right.
certain areas with your partner, with your wife, whatever it is.
100%.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's big. That's a traumas. Have y'all ever sat down and talked about that like in depth, like with each other? Like,
Yeah,
this is my traumas. Yeah, this is my trauma.
Yeah.
A little. I think as things come up, because I mean, we've, of course, met each other's families and stuff like that and like hung around families. And so, yeah, I think as it came up, we would address certain things. But I wouldn't say we've sat down and had like a whole trauma dumping session. Of
Like, get the tissue ready.
Get the
This might
tissue
be one of
ready
those
or all
conversations.
the things. Yeah. Just like as things come up, like if you meet certain family members, I'm like, okay, well, like years ago, this kind of happened with them and like it
Yeah.
affected me this way. Like we've had conversations like that. So yeah, I don't,
Yeah.
yeah.
We've had that conversation a few times. Like,
Have they been helpful?
yeah,
It helps me understand.
Yeah, as I was about to say, it helps us understand each other.
That's big.
Yeah.
And like, because I feel like your little self, like who you were as a kid, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's like the stuff that you've been through, the things you experienced as a kid, but it helped build you to who you are now. So it like, you know what I'm saying? Like with the anxiety and stuff like that, I can see like, okay, like I get it. Like I
Yeah.
see why, I know why.
It make more sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense now. So it's not just like, yo, like you wildin', bro. You need to chill.
Yeah.
Like, no, like this is why, like I'm like this, and this
Yes.
is where it came from.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
okay, so yeah, like it's understandable. Same
Yeah.
thing with me, like, well, especially like my solitude and stuff like that. Like I had
Yeah.
an older sister, or whatever. She moved out. It was just me.
Just you.
I had
Yeah.
to entertain myself.
Yeah.
We
You
didn't
got so
really go
used
on-
to that.
Yeah.
Exactly. We didn't go on family trips like that.
Yeah.
Like if
No,
we
it makes
did, me and my
sense.
mama went with the church.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so I mean, I was used to entertaining myself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, of course, I had cousins and stuff. I would go and stay, and they would have sleepovers and stuff. But I mean, for the most part, it was me. Like,
Yeah.
so I mean, yeah. So yeah, we definitely had those conversations. Before.
Speaking of families, that's another good one to discuss
Oh,
before
lifestyle.
marriage. Yeah, and
think about
lifestyle
that
too,
too.
like how you want to live. And I mean, some partners may be okay with living below their means and stuff like that. Other
Yeah.
partners may not.
Right.
Other partners are like, I'm used to a certain
Lifestyle, yeah.
lifestyle. I grew up this way. Like,
We might die tomorrow.
okay.
Let's spin that, dog. Like,
Hey, but you can't take it to the grave with you, bro. They ain't gonna put it in the casket with you.
that's not me. I just want to say that, bro. Look, in case I wake up tomorrow, I want that money to still be there. You
They
know
got
what
to
I'm
do
saying?
it now.
Hey,
But yeah,
But yeah,
lifestyle.
lifestyle. Do you want to be extremely wealthy? Do you want to just live comfortably? Like these are conversations to have, because it kind of goes back to the beginning when we were talking about like financial goals. Like your partner may be okay with just like bare minimum things, and like there's nothing wrong with that from people, but a partner who is like very motivated and like wants the next best thing may be held behind by somebody who is just very content with like, I don't mind if I never own a home. Like I can rent forever. Like that's cool with me. Whereas somebody who's wanting to like invest and like buy investment properties and stuff like that, this person over here is not going to mesh up the lifestyle of this person.
Right.
And it's always going to be a tug of war of like, well, I want more. Well, why do you always want more? You always care about materialistic things when it's like, no, I just want more and better for myself. So like, yeah, lifestyle's important. How do you want to live? Where do you want to live? Do you like prioritize materialistic things? Do you not? If one were to lose a job, like, are we okay with living below our means for a little while, or is that not something you can handle? Like, these are good things to talk about.
And I think within those conversations, like, it needs to be like, you take the ego out of it, and you sit down and you be very realistic. Like I'll like now, at 29, bro, I can be honest, bro. This world has literally killed almost every little bit of optimism I had, bro. I'm gonna be honest. Like, how you just kind of wonder, like, well, maybe, like, yeah, no, it ain't happening.
Yeah, I'm hanging on.
Yeah,
I'm hanging
like,
on. I'm like,
it ain't going that way. So I think there needs to be a point to where the conversation needs to be, like, what type of lifestyle you want to have, like living below your means. If you're not with living below your means and you want to be wealthy, are you willing to do the things to become wealthy? Because I don't think people have the conversation of, I want this, I want all of, I want. But what are you willing to do to get it?
for it.
Yep.
But to be wealthy, like, do you know how much brain power that is? You have to stretch your brain and your emotions so much, and your character.
Fatigue.
You
Yeah.
can exactly, bro.
It's
You're gonna
real.
run yourself. If you really want it, it's there. You can get it. But
It's
are
what
you
it's gonna take.
Exactly. You're gonna have to sacrifice sleep, all types of stuff. Like, are you
Sacrifice.
willing to push yourself to that limit, to damn near breaking yourself to make $1, bro? That's really what it come down to. If you ain't, then be cool.
So
But if you willing to do that, then we need to go. I don't believe in half stepping. I believe if you're gonna do it, then you need to
step
balls
with
to
the
the
big
walls.
foot.
You need
Yeah.
instead of like, I'll just do it like some days. Like, I do it a little bit, a little half effort, like 80%, and then I bump up to 100. Nah, you need to hit the gates at 100. Like,
So do you
coming
think
out.
you could coexist with someone that doesn't think that way or don't see the value in going that hard?
Can
Like
you
when it comes to goals and stuff, like united goals. Like,
can you coexist with somebody like that? Yeah, I feel like you can. It's gonna take a level of sacrifice, though.
of what though? I'm feeling like, bro, you're gonna have to sacrifice some peace.
But you feel what I'm saying? You're gonna have to.
And I'm
because
stingy
it's
with
like-
mine. Like,
Yeah,
what?
you're gonna have to sacrifice, because if we ain't on the same page, like, then cool. Because we can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel like on certain things.
Yeah. I mean, give or take. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you could say that. Like, depends on like what it is. But like, as far as like goals and stuff and lifestyle goes, like that, I feel like that can be compromised because you know what I'm saying? Like, hypothetically speaking, let's say like she didn't want to have nice things, but I want nice things. Oh, I'm gonna make sure we got nice things. You don't have to enjoy them, but we gonna have them.
But I feel
fine.
but I feel
Yeah.
like as the person who's like the extra go-getter has to be okay with the fact that they are the one giving the effort.
Yeah.
Because where
And that's where that sacrifice comes in.
right, well that's where it gets frustrating for the person who's like really pushing through, because it's like my partner feels like an anchor to me because I feel like I'm trying to like I want this more for us more than you want it for us, and like so that gets tough. So I don't know. It's a hard question to say, like, can they coexist? Part of me feels like they might not be able to in the long run. I don't think it's sustainable in
Longevity,
the
yeah.
I'm thinking long term of somebody who really wants to like be wealthy and wants, you know, generational wealth and stuff like that. If the other person is not on the same page wanting that for their family, like it's always gonna feel like you're the one that wants it more for the family and the other person is just like content with you doing all the work for the family. And like that's what I'm saying, as the person who's like the extra go-getter, like you have to be okay with that. You might be in this journey by yourself.
You can't put those expectations on them.
Exactly.
Right.
That's
That's
what
all I'm
saying.
thinking as you
But
saying
that's
that.
the conversation is like, if you are agreeing to coexist with this person, you knew what you were getting into. So if this person never rides up to the tide or whatever, like you can't be upset because this is the agreement that y'all had.
That's real.
So, and I think as the person who's the extra go-getter too, like sometimes they may think like, oh, well, if I do this, it'll motivate them or whatever.
I'm bad about doing
Don't
that.
be
I'll
mad.
honest, dog.
Don't be mad if they don't come around.
Yeah, then I'll be like, man, you ain't, man.
You really don't care.
Right. You still don't see it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm bad about that. I ain't gonna, I'm working on it.
So I think that's just something to be careful of.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what we're saying too, as far as like having these types of conversations. Like people don't want to have these conversations for that reason. You never want to find out that you're the one that's the go-getter and your partner doesn't really care that much, because then you have to really sit down and take a look at like, is this gonna last long term if I'm the one that's gonna be wanting everything and like my partner's cool with just like staying in an apartment for the rest of their life? Like, I want a house. I want to move out of state. Like, I want
Right.
multiple kids. Like, I would like a nice car to drive to work. Like, we don't have to be financially free, but like, if I'm working 9 to 5, like, I want a nice car there.
Right.
And like, I want things for our life. And like, so you have to really look, like, if those things aren't important to your partner, like, that may not be something that's sustainable long term if you're not on the same page about how you want to live life.
And that would really suck though.
It
For that to be
would.
the thing that you
That-
find out down the road after
Yes.
you've invested time
Yes.
and energy,
Yes.
you know, because I'm one of those people, I really don't believe that you just waste time with people. Because I'm one of those people, I'm going to take from any situation.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to appreciate the good from any situation. Even if
Right.
it ended bad, I'm like, well, you know, optimistic, you know, me, like, I
Yeah.
hang on to it.
Yeah.
So, but when you dedicate I'll say your life to someone, and you just don't feel like it added up to anything or it's adding up to anything,
Yeah.
that got to be a terrible feeling.
It's hard.
You know,
Yeah.
especially if you realizing, okay, I'm not willing to live like this no more.
Yep.
Right.
Like that got to be tough, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cause I think about
That's a tough pill to swallow.
yeah, like you know, people be married for 40 years sometimes. Then one day they just decide they should get a divorce. Like,
Yeah.
man, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
40 years?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
I
Did
already
you see
told
it
her-
coming? Like, did it?
Yeah.
I already told her you stuck with me, bro. Like,
That's me, dog. Once
just
we say that,
I don't care how much you don't even fall out of love and you don't,
bro.
But
That's
I,
fine.
But I really
Bro, I'm
feel.
telling you.
But I
Don't matter.
I
feel.
promise.
I feel
Better
like.
go in the other room.
Yeah.
Tell it. But
I
look,
don't know what to tell you,
there goes
dog.
some shit.
It's okay if there's some days where you don't like your partner.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
That's a good one.
That's okay. There's gonna be days you don't. I think these conversations that we're talking about, though, we're winding down on time, so we can't really cover everything, but we can cover one or two more things. But as far as like just these conversations in general, like, do not stop having these conversations. Like, it was what I was saying earlier about the baby thing. Like, that's going to be something me and Devin are talking about until the baby gets here. And then when the baby gets here, it's topics about the baby now.
keep
like,
updating
we
it.
are
Yeah.
on it. So it's just like, that's why when you're like, oh, you're stuck with me, like, if you're mad at me, go to another room and stuff like that. Like, that's why that's going to work, is because we are always continuously having conversations about things that matter to us.
Communication.
Like always. Don't stop having the lifestyle conversation. Like, we can only go so far with our thinking because me and Devin only make a certain amount of money right now. But like, it's not gonna be like that forever.
Right now,
When-
right.
Yeah, when we reach a different tax bracket, now we're gonna start having
time for a new
different
conversation.
Exactly. So like, things are gonna change, but that's just because like we are very on top of our communication with each other. But like,
Right.
it has to stay that way. Like, you can't just knock these important conversations out and be like, all right, hope they remember 20 years down the line that I
Right.
said this 20 years ago. Like, it's not gonna be like that. Like, I hope you talked about it since.
Right.
Because
I'm
you're
telling you.
you're marrying somebody who's always going to change. I think we talked about this on the expectation episode, is like, we are ever changing beings. Like, me and you are going to be different next year when we marry each other. Me and you are going to be different when a baby comes into play. Me and you are going to be different when baby number 2 comes into play, when one of our parents passes. Like, we are going to be always different people. Like, we are growing up together. Life is changing. So like, conversations have to keep happening along the way. So
absolutely.
these things that we're talking about, like, oh, make sure you talk about these before marriage. Make sure you talk about them after marriage too.
Yeah.
Like, these are important conversations to have in general. So
That's a good point. Keep it an ongoing conversation.
always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to hit this point.
Okay.
Religion.
We'll wrap it up on this one then.
Ooh, religion.
Man, look.
What's up with that? What's up with that?
You better get that spirit right or believe in something. You
Bro,
better find you something to believe
you
in.
just said, look, I don't push religion. Look, I know what God does for me. You
Right,
know?
exactly.
I don't push it on nobody. I
Yeah.
just try to live my life in a way that represents what I believe.
Exactly.
But I always tell people, you don't have to believe in what I believe in, but you must believe in something greater than yourself
Yes.
or bigger
Okay.
than yourself.
Yeah.
Or something that keeps you contained.
Yeah.
Because if you live in a life where it's no one above you, no one to correct you,
No guide. Yeah.
we not gonna align.
Right.
Yeah.
I constantly
Right.
I constantly get checked by
Yep.
God, you know,
Yeah.
like, and I get checked because I'm open to that, you know.
Yes.
I look for that correction.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I'm living my life with this, you know,
Right.
this guy and you just out here living freely, I don't see how we gon' longevity wise.
Right.
I don't see how we won't make it.
Yeah.
Like, so
Right.
to me, is it a deal breaker? It's not, but it can be.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah,
Right.
I could
Yeah.
see for some people how it would be. Because like you said, like you're getting your guidance, of course, from like people around you, but there's a guidance that's like bigger than you. And that's a different relationship.
It's a different relationship, exactly.
A whole different relationship because you're literally believing in something that you can't see, and that's just so much different.
Faith.
But yes,
Exactly.
like that's
what
it's huge.
it comes into play because
Yeah,
I know, and like you said, I don't really push religion on nobody either. I push the relationship.
The
with God.
relationship.
Yeah.
Amen.
That's what's the
it.
most important thing is
That's
the
it,
relationship
bro.
because
Yeah.
like when you have like a type of faith that I have or whatever, like I'm sorry, but you ain't finna get in them pearly gates off my name. If you ain't got no relationship with him, you done,
Bro.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna let you in like, oh, you was cool with him, so yeah, you
Bro, ain't no affiliation.
Ain't no affiliation.
Yeah.
Every man is for himself.
He know me.
Exactly.
Like, you know
He know me, don't mean he know
Yeah.
you.
Facts.
You might can't get in the club.
You
But
said
I'm
it,
in
bro.
there. Like
You said
so that,
it.
I mean that's important. Like and I feel like you do have to be on the same page, especially when you're bringing kids into the world. Like, you don't want to confuse them.
Yeah.
The
course.
last thing you want to do is confuse the kids, bro, because it's only two people who get a pass, and that's pets and children.
Yeah.
If you a grown person above the age of 18, you're responsible,
Yup.
right?
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
be
You
know what I
fool,
mean?
be wise. Which one you want?
Exactly. Exactly. So, and I think that spirituality and faith elevates the relationship and elevates a marriage. Like
100%.
when those tough times come, you can always lean on that faith, bro. And
That's
it's
why
gonna
I say
get you
bigger
through
than you.
Yep.
every
You
time.
know what I mean?
Yep.
It's gonna put, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna pull you
swear.
through every time. So it's just like, you know, and I understand it. You know, like you were saying, like it's hard to believe in something that you can't see or whatever. But like I look at it how like Kendrick said in a song. He was like, matter of fact, it's called Faith.
Yeah.
He was talking about how I would much rather live like there is a God and find out that there isn't one
Right.
than to live like there isn't one and find out that
Find
there
out
is.
it is.
Because then
Yeah.
you're just too late.
Right.
You feel what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
That's
Yeah.
one of my
it's
favorite
like,
quotes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, I just rather, you know what I mean? Play it how I'm supposed to. And
Yep.
shit,
Right.
if he ain't, then cool. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like a relationship with God, it is important. You know what I mean? Like, even as an individual, because I feel like God can lead you, especially like in our position as men, bro. You know, we were given the task of leading, bro, being the head of a household. Like,
Yeah.
so where are you gonna get that guidance from? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you got to get that from a higher power, because only, you know what I'm saying, only the Most High can feed you that guidance, like that type of structure. To
When
where,
you leave but don't know where to go.
exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because you
You
got to
know?
think, you got a wife, you got 2 or 3 kids, so they
not
looking at
just
you,
you, bro.
like, "Shh, boy, daddy, what
What
we
we
doing?
gonna
All
do?
the weight on
Yeah.
the world.
Bro,
Right.
this, you know what I'm saying? This
You
vehicle
gonna
don't
need
move unless you
somebody.
driving
You
it.
know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Exactly. So it's, yeah, bro, you need that engine.
Yeah.
You can't have a car without the engine, bro. Like, yeah, I need
Yeah.
shit.
Be my compass. Please.
Yeah, go ahead and
Yeah.
pull the GPS up. Where we going?
Where we going?
And then you just go and follow, bro. And then, you know, and it feels a whole lot better when you get to the end of that road, bro, and everything that he promised you is there, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's unbeatable, bro. That's an unbeatable feeling.
Facts.
To just not having to really worry about shit for real. Like,
Yeah.
just knowing that, you know, God, you know, he got your back. He gonna make sure that you put in a position to where, you know, you gonna be straight. Now, it's up to you what you do with it now.
Right.
Yeah.
I like to say that God 10 for 10.
Exactly, bro. He
Yeah.
gonna give you the
He
rock. but
10
it's
for
like,
10.
shh,
Yeah. He ain't missing.
if you can't shoot, then hey, you
Right.
might want to get it. He gonna
Yeah.
take that rock and
Yeah.
give it to somebody else. Like,
You gonna be in the gym or not?
tell you,
Yeah.
just like that. So yeah, I think that's really important, bro. Just because one as men, it helps us, and yeah, man, as women too. You know what I'm saying? It helps them to like be understanding, to be able to, you know, I guess lead in their way too, but follow in behind like the example. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think it builds a good foundation for a healthy family.
Great foundation. You just said it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You feel the same way?
I do. I would love to elaborate. However, our camera has died.
Ah,
And we are pulling up at the end. Yeah, that's why I was like, we're pulling
That's a
up on the
sign.
end. Yeah. We're gonna have to do a part 2 of this because there's so
sure.
much that we
Yeah, we didn't get to
hit.
cover.
Yeah, it was.
Half of
It's
it
just
so
such a
good.
good conversation that we got to have. So
I told y'all boys.
yeah.
Calvin Owens. I
I
try
know.
to tell y'all
I
boys, you know
love
what I'm
it.
saying? Like,
I love it.
If y'all
You know.
want a part 2, if you just want your boy back up here, make sure y'all
Hey,
send that
man.
in.
Yes,
You know?
Yeah, go ahead.
send
I forgot
it
to
in.
I just looked into the camera, but it's dead. But I'm looking at y'all. Tell him you want your boy back up here.
Facts. All right, y'all. We are closing it down. Thank y'all so much for joining us on another episode. Like I said, if you are craving a part 2, which I think we just gonna have to go ahead and do it.
Yeah,
much
we might
at
have to
this
go ahead and
point.
put that in play.
We will bring this topic back because, again, there's just so much to cover, and Calvin's a great guest for it. So we're definitely going to bring it back. But yes, if you are on the YouTube, unfortunately, there is no video at the moment. Y'all,
This
I
camera, bro, we gotta
promise
figure
we're
that
going to
out.
get it. No, it's just because we keep going
Yeah.
over an hour and it's going to die. So,
That's facts.
yeah, so we've just been making lengthier pods, but that's good. That just means we have more to say. So if you're on YouTube, sorry, there's no video, but if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you drop a comment if you found a gem in here that you liked or whatever it may be, and make sure you give the video a thumbs up. If you are following us on Apple or Spotify, we finally fixed whatever was going on with the Apple Podcast. So
Yeah,
episodes
after
are
you
up.
about to get dropped in a few.
You really are, but we really can't because that's where all of our audio listeners are.
In time.
Damn.
In time, though, we dropping your ass. But anyways, yeah. So make sure you click the plus button in the top right on Apple and the follow button on Spotify to keep up with our episodes. Calvin, thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, we
Thank you for
appreciate you
having
being
me.
here.
Yeah.
Y'all don't
Yes.
understand.
Where can
where can they find
the
you, bro?
snackers find
Plug in
you?
everything.
Yes.
Yeah, so man, on IG you can find me at Calvin Owens, SSS. 3 S's on the end. You can find me on TikTok, Calvin Owens, 2 S's in the end.
Okay.
And yeah, man, make sure you follow my podcast as well, which
Yes.
is Backroom Conversations.
right.
You can
right,
find
bro.
it
Got his
on
own podcast.
Apple, Spotify, and almost any other platform, but it's out there. Backroom Conversations. If you like the vibe, if you feeling me,
Yes.
hey, tap in, man. It's a lot of I try to keep things positive, If I'm gonna be an influencer, I'm influencing positive mindset.
Right.
There
So
you
if
go.
you into that,
Like it.
and yeah,
Love it.
tap in.
Hey, shout out to Quill Durham too, man. I see you, boy.
Big shout out. Yeah, that's a
Yeah, Quill, a good dude, boy.
Yo,
man,
he
came
into a lot. That's another guy for the pod.
I know, bro.
For sure.
He done
get
into
him
a whole
on.
different realm. Like, he done reached like Super Saiyan for
That
real.
boy,
Like,
when you talking about grinding and you talking about wasting no time,
bro.
that boy. But
Different
yeah, shout
level,
out to
bro.
Quill, man.
Shout out him.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, though, y'all. I really appreciate this.
Of course.
absolutely, bro.
You are definitely welcome back. We'll get this part 2 going.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, bro.
Hope y'all
Peace.
enjoyed. We will see y'all next Wednesday.
All right, stay safe, y'all.
Bye.